Nobody expected Seokjin to miss Jungkook this much after their separation. What seemed like a normal goodbye quickly turned into something fans couldn't stop talking about. As the days passed, subtle moments began to surface. Small reactions, quiet expressions, and unexpected signs that hinted at a much deeper bond than anyone realized. The smiles were still there, but many noticed something felt different. Was Seokjin simply missing a close friend, or was there a story behind the scenes that fans had never seen before? The more people looked back at their final moments together, the more emotional the situation became. And one particular moment left ARMY asking the same question: just how hard was it for Seokjin to let Jungkook go? As fans continued to revisit every memory, every appearance, and every interaction between Seokjin and Jungkook, a different picture slowly began to emerge. What initially looked like a simple separation between two members started to feel much more emotional when viewed through a wider lens. The distance between them was not measured by schedules or locations alone. It was reflected in the countless moments they were no longer sharing together. For years, their connection had grown naturally in front of millions of people. From chaotic laughter to unexpected moments of support, their chemistry became one of the most recognizable dynamics that fans loved to watch. Because of that, the separation felt unusual. Not because it was unexpected, but because it suddenly highlighted how much of each other's daily lives they had occupied. The more fans looked back, the more details they noticed. Small gestures that once seemed ordinary suddenly carried a different weight. A smile that lasted a little longer. A glance that appeared more meaningful in hindsight. Moments that were once overlooked began resurfacing across social media, creating wave after wave of discussion among ARMY. What made everything even more emotional was the realization that some of the most important connections are often understood only after distance appears. While both continued moving forward with their responsibilities, many fans sensed that something was missing. The familiar energy that people had become accustomed to seeing felt incomplete. It was not dramatic. It was subtle. And sometimes subtle emotions leave the deepest impact. As discussions intensified, countless theories emerged. Some believed Seokjin was simply reflecting on years of memories. Others felt the separation had reminded him of just how important Jungkook had become in his everyday life. No matter which interpretation fans chose to believe, one thing remained undeniable: people could not stop talking about it. The emotional response was fueled by something larger than a single moment. It was the accumulation of years spent growing together, facing challenges together, and creating memories that millions witnessed from afar. When those routines suddenly changed, the absence became impossible to ignore. Across online communities, fans continued comparing recent moments with older ones. The contrast was impossible to miss. Every throwback clip seemed to trigger another wave of nostalgia. Every unseen photo generated thousands of reactions. Every reminder of their bond reignited the same conversation. Yet the biggest mystery remained unanswered. What exactly was Seokjin feeling during those quiet moments that fans could only speculate about? No official statement could fully explain it. No viral clip provided a complete answer. Instead, the uncertainty itself became part of the story. People kept searching for clues, hoping to understand what was happening beneath the surface. Then something unexpected happened. A seemingly ordinary moment began attracting extraordinary attention. What would normally have passed unnoticed suddenly became the center of discussion. Fans analyzed every detail, every expression, and every subtle reaction. The internet quickly filled with emotional interpretations, each one adding another layer to the growing mystery. The reason this moment resonated so strongly was because it appeared genuine. There was no stage, no performance, and no obvious attempt to create an emotional scene. Yet somehow, it carried more impact than many carefully planned appearances. It felt real. And that authenticity made it impossible for fans to look away. As the story continued to spread, emotions only grew stronger. Supporters from around the world shared their own thoughts, memories, and observations. Some admitted they never realized how close the two had become until they were no longer seen together as often. Others confessed that revisiting old content now felt completely different than before. The conversation evolved beyond simple curiosity. It became a reflection on friendship, connection, and the unexpected emptiness that can appear when someone who has always been present is suddenly far away. And just when fans thought they had seen every possible clue, another detail surfaced. A detail so small that most people would have ignored it. Yet for those who noticed, it changed the entire conversation once again. The discovery reignited speculation, pushed emotions even higher, and left ARMY wondering whether the true story behind Seokjin's feelings was far deeper than anyone had imagined. What happened next would only make the mystery impossible to ignore. The growing attention surrounding Seokjin and Jungkook was no longer driven by a single photo, a single appearance, or even a single memory. It had become something much bigger. Every new discussion seemed to uncover another forgotten moment from the past, and with each rediscovered clip, fans felt they were piecing together a story that had been quietly unfolding for years. What made the situation so captivating was the contrast between public smiles and private emotions. On the surface, everything appeared normal. Life continued moving forward. Responsibilities remained unchanged. New projects arrived. New schedules appeared. Yet many fans couldn't shake the feeling that an invisible chapter had suddenly closed, leaving behind an emptiness that was difficult to explain. The more people revisited old content, the more they noticed how naturally Seokjin and Jungkook gravitated toward each other. Moments that once felt casual now seemed surprisingly significant. Their interactions carried a familiarity that only develops over time. There was comfort. There was trust. There was an unspoken understanding that rarely needed explanation. That realization hit fans harder than expected. It wasn't simply about missing someone. It was about recognizing how deeply woven a person had become into everyday life. When someone is always there, their presence becomes part of the routine. Their laughter becomes expected. Their energy becomes familiar. Their existence becomes something people unconsciously rely on. Only when that routine changes does the true value of those moments become impossible to ignore. As emotions continued building across social media, fans started sharing stories about their favorite memories involving the two. Millions of views accumulated on old videos. Archived photos resurfaced. Forgotten interactions suddenly became viral again. Each post seemed to ask the same question. Had everyone underestimated how important their bond truly was? The speculation intensified because there was never one defining moment that explained everything. Instead, there were hundreds of small moments scattered across years of memories. Each one carried its own emotional weight. Together, they formed a picture that felt increasingly difficult to dismiss. Some fans pointed toward the way Seokjin's expressions seemed to change whenever certain memories were mentioned. Others focused on the nostalgic atmosphere that appeared whenever the past was brought up. No matter where people looked, they found new reasons to continue discussing the story. And that was when another unexpected detail emerged. Unlike previous clues, this one didn't come from an old video or a resurfaced photograph. It came from the reactions of the fans themselves. As people compared recent appearances with older ones, a surprising pattern began gaining attention. The observations were subtle at first. Only a handful of fans noticed them. But within days, discussions spread rapidly across multiple platforms. Suddenly, everyone was examining the same moments. Everyone was searching for the same answers. Everyone was trying to understand what they might have missed before. The emotional impact became impossible to ignore. Many fans admitted that what affected them most was not the separation itself. It was the realization of how much history existed between them. Years of memories cannot simply disappear. Shared experiences leave lasting impressions. Even when circumstances change, those memories continue to carry emotional significance. That idea resonated deeply throughout the fandom. Perhaps that was why the story continued attracting attention long after people expected it to fade. Instead of disappearing, interest kept growing. Instead of finding answers, fans discovered more questions. And those questions only made the mystery stronger. Every week seemed to bring another unexpected reminder. Another clip. Another image. Another memory that reignited discussions all over again. The story refused to end because there was always one more detail waiting to be noticed. Then came the moment that changed everything. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't announced. It wasn't planned. In fact, many people nearly missed it entirely. Yet once fans noticed it, the reaction was immediate.
Online discussion exploded.
Emotional posts flooded timelines. Long-time supporters began revisiting years of memories once again. For many, this wasn't just another viral topic anymore. It felt personal. It felt nostalgic. It felt like watching the closing pages of a chapter they weren't ready to leave behind. And perhaps that was the most emotional part of all. No one truly knows what was going through Seokjin's mind during those moments. Fans can only observe from a distance and interpret what they see. But sometimes the strongest stories are the ones that remain unanswered. The uncertainty keeps people invested. The mystery keeps people searching. And as more hidden details continue surfacing, one possibility has started capturing everyone's attention. What if the moments fans have already seen are only a small part of a story? What if the most emotional chapter between Seokjin and Jungkook has not been revealed yet? That question continues to spread through the fandom, leaving millions of fans waiting for the next clue, the next memory, and the next unexpected moment that could finally reveal what has remained hidden all this time. The question refused to disappear. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, yet fans continued returning to the same memories. Every discussion seemed to lead back to one unavoidable reality. Some connections leave a mark so deep that even time struggles to erase them. What made the situation even more fascinating was how naturally everything had unfolded. There had never been a grand announcement. No emotional farewell designed to attract headlines. No dramatic moment intended to become viral. Yet somehow, the emotional weight surrounding Seokjin and Jungkook continued growing stronger. The more fans reflected on the past, the more they began noticing a pattern. Many of their most memorable moments were not the loudest ones. They were the quiet moments. The moments hidden between performances. The moments that happened when cameras were not necessarily focused on them. The moments that seemed insignificant at first, but carried unexpected meaning later. Those were the memories people kept returning to. And perhaps that was why the story remained so powerful. Because it felt authentic. Every resurfaced clip seemed to reveal another layer of a bond that had developed over years. Not through dramatic events, but through consistency. Through shared experiences. Through countless ordinary days that gradually became extraordinary because they were experienced together. As fans revisited older content, a feeling of nostalgia began spreading across the fandom. Suddenly, old videos started gaining millions of new views. Archived photos reappeared across social media. Forgotten moments became trending topics once again. It was as if people were collectively searching for something. Not answers. Not confirmation, but understanding. An understanding of why this particular story felt different from so many others. The emotional reactions became impossible to ignore. Many fans admitted that watching older memories now felt bittersweet. Moments that once brought pure laughter now carried a touch of sadness. Not because anything bad had happened, but because those moments represented a time that could never be recreated exactly as it was.
People change.
Circumstances evolve. Yet memories remain frozen. And sometimes those memories become more valuable with every passing day. That realization only intensified the emotional connection fans felt toward the story. Then another unexpected development occurred. A single observation began circulating among longtime supporters. At first, it seemed insignificant.
Just another fan theory.
Just another interpretation. But as more people looked into it, the discussion gained momentum. The observation centered around one simple idea. Some of the strongest emotions are revealed not through words, but through absence. The theory immediately captured attention because it explained something many fans had been struggling to describe. People weren't reacting to what they saw. They were reacting to what was missing. The familiar interactions. The effortless chemistry. The small moments that had once appeared so frequently that nobody imagined they would ever become rare. Once fans noticed that absence, they couldn't stop noticing it. And that realization changed everything. The conversation shifted from nostalgia to curiosity. from curiosity to speculation, and from speculation to anticipation. Because if absence could reveal so much, what would happen when the next unexpected reunion finally arrived? The possibility alone was enough to ignite excitement throughout the fandom. People began imagining what that moment might look like. Would it be emotional? Would it be casual? Would it reveal feelings that had remained hidden beneath the surface? No one knew. And that uncertainty became the driving force behind the story. Every new appearance was analyzed. Every public interaction became headline-worthy. Every small detail generated thousands of reactions. Yet the discussions never truly slowed down. If anything, they became stronger. New fans discovered old memories. Veteran fans revisited moments they hadn't seen in years. Entire compilations were created to document the evolution of their relationship over time. Each video seemed to end the same way. Not with conclusions, but with questions. Questions that remained unanswered. Questions that kept people watching. Questions that transformed ordinary memories into something much larger. Then came a development that nobody had predicted. A detail emerged from the past. Not a major event. Not a shocking revelation. Just a small forgotten moment that somehow carried enormous emotional significance. Once fans noticed it, reactions spread rapidly. Thousands of comments appeared within hours. Many people admitted they had overlooked the moment completely when it first happened. Now, viewed through the lens of everything that followed, it felt entirely different. What once seemed ordinary suddenly felt unforgettable. And that discovery reopened a mystery many believed had already reached its peak. Instead of bringing closure, it created even more intrigue. Instead of answering questions, it raised new ones. Questions that continue circulating throughout the fandom today. Questions about what remains unseen. Questions about what remains unsaid. Questions about whether the story fans have spent months trying to understand is actually much bigger than anyone realizes. And if those questions eventually receive an answer, many believe it could become one of the most emotional moments the fandom has witnessed in years. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are not the ones that end quickly. They are the ones that keep unfolding when nobody expects them to. And according to countless fans, the story of Seokjin and Jungkook may still be unfolding right now, hidden behind memories, distance, and emotions that remain impossible to fully explain. The next chapter, they believe, could arrive at any moment. And when it does, everything fans thought they understood about this story may change once again.